1.8 million dollars. That is not a lottery win. That is the exact price of my resignation. Look at him, Mark, the man who owns this glass cage. I can't hear a word he's screaming. The glass is soundproof, but I can read his lips perfectly. Fired. Jail. Ruin. He thinks I've committed a crime. He thinks I've embezzled company funds. He's wrong. In the financial world, theft is crude. True professionals don't steal. We reallocate liquidity. You see, 72 hours ago, this man denied me a $70,000 bonus. He told me the firm had risk constraints, that we had to tighten our belts, so I decided to help him. I decided to test those risk constraints to their absolute mathematical limit. I didn't hack the system. I didn't use a password I stole. I just used the one thing he was too arrogant to read. My employment contract, specifically Section 4, Paragraph B, the malicious compliance clause. But to understand how I legally bankrupted my boss, we have to go back to Tuesday. Let's look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. People do. Q3. My desk alone generated $15 million in net profit. That's a 40% year-over-year increase. I didn't just beat the market, I crushed it into dust. I lived on caffeine and adrenaline for 90 days. Based on my commission structure, that meant a $70,000 check. 2 p.m. Tuesday. The summon comes. Mark wants to see you. I stood up, adjusted my blazer. I actually practiced my thank you smile. Walking to his office felt like approaching the throne of a petty king. The smell hit me first. On fresh paint, expensive mahogany polish. Mark had just renovated. While the rest of us were fighting for paperclips, he was standing by the window, looking at the city he thought he owned. Sarah, he turned. The smile didn't reach his eyes. It never did. He didn't offer me a seat. That's a power move, keeps you unbalanced. Incredible quarter, he said, tapping my report. Really solid work. So, I started, about the performance bonus. He sighed. A long, theatrical sigh. The sound of a wallet closing. The firm is facing headwinds, Sarah. Unexpected overhead costs. Overhead costs? I stared at the new Patek Philippe Nautilus on his wrist. That watch cost more than my entire student loan debt. We're freezing all discretionary bonuses, he said, to protect liquidity. Freezing? My voice cracked. Just a little. I promised my mother. He took a sip of whiskey. We all have to make sacrifices, Sarah. It's for the team. The team. The team that paid for his renovation, for his watch. Is that all? I asked. The air in the room felt thin. That's all. Keep pushing, Sarah. Next quarter looks bright. I walked out. The walk of the defeated. I went to the bathroom, locked the stall, and checked my bank app. Balance, $300. Credit card utilization, 90%. My phone buzzed. A reminder. Mom's surgery copay due tomorrow. $5,000. I didn't have it. I thought about asking for an advance, but I knew the answer. The system wasn't broken. It was working exactly as designed, to funnel wealth from the workers to the watchers. I sat there for 10 minutes, the cold tile against my back. I wasn't sad anymore. Sadness is passive. I was calculating. I was auditing. If he wouldn't give me what I earned, I would have to take it. Not by stealing, but by using the company's own greed against itself. I remembered the risk account, the forgotten ledger. It was meant for hedging, but in the right hands, it was a weapon. I dried my hands. Paper towels are rough, like my mood. I walked back to my desk. The senior trader nameplate looked crooked. I wasn't an employee anymore. I was a hostile takeover waiting to happen. I logged in, but the intent was pure, unadulterated solvency. I returned to my desk. It wasn't furniture anymore, it was a cockpit. I unlocked the bottom drawer. the one that sticks. Inside, buried under old compliance manuals, was my original employment contract. I blew off the dust. 5 years of loyalty, covered in grime. I didn't need a lawyer. I needed a magnifying glass. Most traders only read the salary page. I read the fine print, page 42, subsection D, proprietary trading accounts. Mark was lazy. He used a boilerplate contract from the 90s, and in the 90s, they wanted traders to take risks. The senior trader is authorized to manage a drawdown limit of $50,000. That means I can lose 50 grand without asking permission. But here is the loophole. It didn't specify a profit cap, and Clause 12, performance fee. Trader receives 20% of net profits generated from proprietary strategies. Mark thought he was saving $70,000. He just authorized a robbery. But to pull this off, buying stocks wasn't enough. Stocks are too slow. I needed leverage. I needed derivatives. Specifically, options. Let me explain. A stock is like buying a house. You own the bricks. An option is like paying a deposit to buy the house later, at today's price. It's called a call option. It gives me the right to buy, but not the obligation. If the house price doubles tomorrow, my small deposit becomes worth a fortune. That is leverage, controlling a massive asset with a tiny amount of cash. But there are variables. The Greeks. They sound like a frat house, but they are killers. Delta measures speed, how fast my option price moves with the stock. But gamma is acceleration, the rate of change of speed. When a stock explodes, gamma makes your profits go parabolic, not linearly, exponential. But the most dangerous variable? Implied volatility, the fear index. When the market is scared, options get expensive, like buying insurance during a hurricane. Tomorrow, a hurricane was scheduled to hit. I pulled up the watch list. I needed a target, not a stable blue chip company. I needed a tech company on the verge of a breakdown. Found it. Hyperion Tech, ticker HPR. Their CEO was a visionary who was currently being investigated by the DOJ earnings call tomorrow, 4 p.m. The market was pricing in a 10% move. If the news was good, the stock would skyrocket. If bad, it would go to zero. A normal trader would stay away. Too much risk. But I had a risk account with a $50,000 allowance. If I lost, the company loses $50K. Just a tax write-off for Mark. But if I bought out of the money calls and the stock popped, the gamma would trigger. The $50K could become $2 million, and 20% of $2 million is $400,000, 6 times the bonus he denied me. I started building the position. Stealth mode. I didn't buy all at once. Algorithms would sniff that out. I used an iceberg order. Only showing the tip, hiding the mass below. 100 contracts purchased, 200 contracts, 500 contracts. The strike price was $150. The stock was currently at $130. I was betting it would jump $20 in one day. Madness or genius, depending on who writes the history books. By 3:55 p.m., the trap was set. Total investment, $49,800, just $200 below my limit. I checked the compliance server. No red flags. Mark was in his office, probably planning his next vacation. He had no idea that beneath his floorboards, I had planted dynamite, financial dynamite, perfectly legal and highly volatile. I packed my bag. The market closed. I walked past Mark's office. He waved. I waved back. "See you tomorrow, Sarah," he said. "Tomorrow," I whispered. "Tomorrow, everything changes." I went home. I didn't sleep. I watched the futures market, waiting for the sun to rise on the battlefield. 9:29 a.m., the calm before the napalm. My finger hovered over the mouse. My palms were sweating. I'm human after all. Mark walked out of his office with a fresh cup of coffee, oblivious. 9:30 a.m. The opening bell rang. The news dropped instantly. Hyperion Tech acquires AI startup. Revenue triple expectations. The stock didn't just move, It teleported. 130, 140, 155. It blew past my strike price in seconds. This is where the gamma squeeze happens. Market makers are panic buying. They have to sell me the stock at 150, even if it costs them 200. My P&L dashboard started having a seizure, plus 500,000. That's Mark's annual salary, gone in 60 seconds. Then, the halt. Trading suspended due to volatility. Silence returned. But it was the silence of a bomb that just armed itself. Mark's risk monitor finally refreshed. The red light started flashing. He dropped his mug. Ceramic shattered on the floor. He saw the exposure, not the profit. He saw a rogue trader. He stormed out. "Sarah, what the hell is this position?" The whole office turned. I didn't flinch. I just swiveled my chair. "It's a volatility play, Mark. The halt will lift in 10 seconds. You're gambling with firm capital. Close it. That's an order." The market reopened. The stock gapped up again. 210. The P&L hit the magic number. 1.8 million. Mark stopped screaming. He looked at the number. He did the math. "Wait," he whispered. "Is that realized?" "Unrealized," I said, "unless I sell right now. If I sell, the company books the profit. If I hold, it could crash." Mark was sweating. He wanted that bonus. He needed it for his renovation. "Do it," he breathed. "Sell it. Great trade, Sarah. Incredible." Order filled. Sold to close. The money was now real. Locked. Mark exhaled. He patted my shoulder. A predator claiming the kill. "We'll discuss your share at the end of the year," he lied. "Actually," I said, standing up, "we'll discuss it now." I reached into my bag. Not for a gun, for paper. I slid the contract across the desk. It hit his coffee spill. Section 4, Paragraph C. The performance fee. 20% of realized alpha, payable within 3 business days of trade settlement. That's $360,000, Mark, plus my base salary. Mark laughed, a nervous, hollow laugh. "You can't be serious. I'm also resigning, effective immediately." I dropped the letter. "You think you can just walk out with $350,000? I'm not asking, Mark. I'm invoicing. And if the wire isn't there by Friday, I send this to the SEC." "Send what?" he sneered. "The audit log, showing you authorized a junior trader to hold uncapped risk. Failure to supervise. FINRA Rule 3110. Wait, it's a career death sentence." The blood drained from his face. He realized he wasn't the shark anymore. He was just the chum. I picked up my bag. The hoodie felt warmer now. 3 days later, 9 a.m. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A single solid vibration. Not a text, not an email. A bank alert. Incoming wire transfer $360,000. Plus my final paycheck. Plus unused vacation days. I didn't scream. I didn't jump. I just exhaled. The weight of the world simply evaporated. First stop, the hospital billing department. I wrote a check for my mother's surgery. Paid in full. No payment plan, no interest. Just freedom. Meanwhile, back at the glass cage, Mark wasn't having a good morning. The board of directors didn't like the gamma squeeze. They saw 1.8 million in profit. But they also saw uncapped risk. In finance, making money the wrong way is worse than losing it. Enter Daniel, the forensic accountant. He wasn't there to chat. He was there to dissect. "We found a pattern of negligence, Mark," Daniel said, calmly. "Failure to supervise, improper delegation of proprietary capital." Mark was escorted out, not by police, by security. His reputation? Incinerated. On Wall Street, news travels faster than light. He is unhireable. Toxic assets are not welcome. As for me, I didn't buy a Lamborghini. I bought time. I bought the ability to say no. I invested the rest. Index funds. Boring. Reliable. Because real wealth isn't about flashing a Rolex. It's about knowing the rules better than the people who wrote them. And sometimes, malicious compliance is the highest form of justice. Read your contracts, friends. The devil is in the details, but the salvation is in the fine print. Next time, how I used a class action lawsuit to destroy a slumlord. Subscribe.